Good evening. Welcome to another presentation of our broadcast here in the Issues Room. It's a pleasure to have all of you here tonight. If you're going to be joining us, we say thank you so much. Please do us the favor by sharing our link, inviting others to join us so we all can be a part of this conversation tonight. Of course, we're always here to talk about Liberia, about the African continent, and the diaspora. This evening is our 252nd broadcast. Again, we'd like to remind you that we will be switching our broadcast from Tuesday and Friday to Sunday, starting September 15th. Again, we'll be switching our broadcast from Tuesdays and Fridays to Sundays, beginning September 15th. That will be the first time we broadcast on Sunday, and it will be at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. in Liberia or those countries in the Greenwich time zone. The Issues Room has been around for nearly 3 years. Come September 14 will be our third anniversary, and based on the current situation with the panelists being working adults, working people who have to take care of families and can't make it to the studio in time, we have decided, after deliberating for a while, we came up with this plan to do our broadcast on Sundays, so to afford the panelists and even guests who are in Liberia to be able to participate. You and I know that if we were to bring a guest on, especially in the winter season when the broadcast is midnight in Liberia, of course, because the time difference, then that guest has to be up as late as 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning. If that person has to go to work the next day, that can be a problem. So for fair play, we decided to just broadcast once a week. The important thing here is that at least we're talking about Liberia. We're discussing the issues of Liberia, and we are continuing to make Liberia a part of our daily lives. We can never get tired. Liberia is an interesting place. Liberia is a weird place. Liberia is one of those extraordinary places. And you and I know that even former President Charles Taylor referenced the Liberian man as a special kind of man. He said there are three people in the world: the white man, the black man, and the Liberian man. And that's why we keep having the same situation. When are we going to move forward? When are we going to change? When are we going to make progress? Because for every time we try to take a baby step, all the wicked people, all the witchcrafts, the one that say they're hunting now, then they start crying, oh, witchcraft, 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 witch hunt, witch hunt, witch hunt. What's wrong with us? Why these indigenous looters came and took over this country from 1980? And I use the word indigenous not in the context of condescending, but I'm looking at it in the context of, okay, yes, the Congo people did this, the Congo people did that. We got the antidote. We're going to make the difference. Come 1980, for 44 years now, you've drifted the country in oblivion. The country continued to go backwards instead of forward. And no one wants to accept that, especially the people now who say that our country here, we got a country. How can you have a country only you alone enjoying, the rest of the people suffering? What would have happened to Alphonso and myself if God didn't bless us to come out of Liberia? They will stay hustling too? Or we fighting for cattle? But everybody can get out of Liberia, Alphonso. And so we should create a country that is enabling enough to spread the wealth so that at least we can have different classes of society. But one group of people, 3 men and take $6.2 million. 3 men and come and they put out $12 million. Now, the issue here and what I'm concerned with, Alphonso, I beg you, I want you to open your mic because I want you to say something. They $12 million born, the Chinese man, that thing or whatever, put it on a bond, and all these things are insurance company. The insurance company that can just pack the band and leave overnight, that the one that come in and sell it. You want your raw cash?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. 3 men can put up $12 million. 12 million for bond. But I'm not casual. The insurance company standing the bond. What type of insurance company that got the money to just be standing for people? Why are we accepting insurance company? Is that in the law? You're the one that read a law.
So the way it is that yeah, there are two ways you can basically do a bond. You can do a bond by cash, which is cash valuation bond, or you can do a bond by property. So what the insurance company does is an insurance company to register as a company, you put certain amount of money in the bank first of all. And then the government also in some cases require, you own some property, you own whatever. And so that's what as an insurance company, that's why you are putting on the line for the client. So let's say the client runs away, the court can then come after you for whatever you are putting on the line.
And you yourself run away too, because most of the insurance company they are flat rates. I'm
Yeah,
telling you too. Yeah,
yeah,
insurance company like Bureau, they make you
mhm,
to pay your money for your car, and something happen, they get
yeah,
you to run around. No, even here in America, they can get you to run around. So imagine
exactly.
like Bureau.
How
One,
about that, bro?
yeah, so it's even worse. You
Yeah,
understand me? So why
yeah,
is the government continue to accept these insurance company bonds? These men took all that money from the country. It's in the houses. It's
yeah.
somewhere in the barrel. Let them bring some in cash. Or you take a portion in cash and
Mhm.
you take a portion in the insurance bonds. Rather than continue to, so how we gonna restitute? How we gonna get money back to take care of issues in the country? How?
Yeah. So that is important. I was
And the
talking to
court, and the
somebody.
court, sorry, the court has the power to decide who's one the one, right?
Yeah. So the court. No. So
Oh,
there
no,
is
no, 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 no.
no
Yes, the court has the power, but you know what? I see
no.
teachers, oh man, hold on. That CDC judges are in the place there that are letting the men go on insurance bonds. That's it. The court has the power to say, I want insurance bond, I want raw cash, or give me 50-50.
So
That means
they can. So here's how it goes. It's written in the law. $10,000 bond, for example. 10% of the $10,000, or you bring a property valuation. Or what? So that is written in it. When you bring a property valuation, then the value of the property goes. Then the value of the property must be a certain amount, for example. So again, it depends on what you are charged off, and so if the charge is for $1 million or 5 million or whatever, the judge might then decide this is your bond for you to come back. Now, how you pay the bond is written in the law. If you bring in cash, then you got to pay certain percentage. If it's property, then that property has to be at XYZ value. So it's written there. So that's how it is. Now, the judge has the discretion of setting the bond higher based upon what it is. But the judge cannot say you must only bring cash or you must only bring property. But it can set the bond high based upon what the crime you're charged with.
yeah. So let me welcome Hashim Fambule, Raymond Clark, and Buchanan Community TV, BCTV in Buchanan, Joe Dawala Hutchinson. Thank you so much. We got to catch up. I know you wanted me to do some stuff. We got to find time to coordinate. But again, if you're able to carry our broadcast on BCTV, we appreciate it. We appreciate the more, the merrier. And so we like to thank you so much for the opportunity to join us here from Buchanan, Grand Bassa County, or all the way across the Atlantic. But Alfonso, listen, man, Liberia is just an interesting society. This country, every time we try to do something in the name of accountability, every time we try to do something in the name of transparency, every time we try to do something in the name of the people, we claim to have a government for, by, and of the people, but it seems as though the people are thrown in the trash can. And the people themselves threw themselves in the trash can by the decision they made. And I'm being honestly practical. Tonight, I'm in my high spirit.
In your element.
I'm in my element. I'm in my zone. Because tonight, we're going to call spade a spade. We're going to dissect the two presidents, the current and the parallel, the one I think he's parallel to the president. The one who has not gotten over the fact that he's lost and
Yeah.
he acts like he He did it in the name of peace. And that's the one that hurts me. The Liberian people didn't want you. So you didn't do it in the name of peace.
No.
George Weah should know better. He could not steal the elections. He knows better. It's the days of stealing elections over. He knows better. And his compatriots, his stalwarts, and the folks who say, oh, we told you why you went and considered you could have forced the election commission to declare you president. God forbid. God forbid. So don't think that you did the Liberian people a favor by sustaining the peace.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I have the problem when this president, or former president rather, comes and start to talk like to say that the Liberian country is for him and he gave it back because of the sake of peace.
And
How,
you're
how do you say that? Contribute, please.
and
Because
you're right,
bottom
Volcano.
it's nonsense.
And you're right. And it's just the limitation and the ignorance or whatever. We have laws. We have democracy. You can't say, "Oh, I didn't come and praise me because I did what the law told me to do." The law says we go to election every 6 years. When you lose, you leave. You're not doing a favor. To say,
Oh,
"Oh, yeah, you're not helping nobody. It's not favor that you're
how are
doing.
you keeping peace every day?
Yeah,
You're bragging
yeah.
about it.
Yeah,
What
I kept
nonsense
the
is that?
peace and I did this and I did that. It's just a bunch of baloney and nonsense. But again, it goes to the level of understanding of these guys. When elections are held and you lose elections, you leave. You're not helping anybody. The people rejected you. Leaders are selected, elected by the people. The people said, no, we don't want you to be our leader. That is the reason why you left. You were not doing the Liberian people a favor by leaving. The people said, no, they don't. It's like we go to a job, for example, and you apply for a job, and the process sorry, we'll find somebody more competent or who fits in or something. We're not going to take you. You haven't done the people a favor. The people made the decision. It's the same thing. The Liberian people decide who their leaders should be.
Oh, stop there. Let me help you.
Yeah,
Let me help you.
yeah,
You
yeah,
got the job,
yeah,
but by probation, the people say, listen, we'll give you one more month to prove
yeah,
yourself. And you
yeah,
still can prove yourself and they
yeah.
let you go.
They let you go.
Because
So
of what
by
happened.
leaving, that you can't say, "Oh, I didn't destroy the desk, I didn't destroy the office, I didn't break things down, so I did the people a favor." No, you haven't done them a favor. The people say you're not a good fit for their job. They don't want you. So you leave. You haven't done a favor. You haven't kept any peace. This other nonsense he talks about is about keeping peace. Is he didn't prosecute people, so he was keeping peace. Who
Peace.
tells you that coming to steal is keeping peace? Stealing from people so the people get sick, they don't have hospitals to go to, the roads are broken, the people can't travel, their children can't go to school. Are you keeping the peace? Peace is not merely the absence of war and shooting guns. Peace is the
Absolutely.
presence of justice and equity and the rule of law. You can't abuse that and you say you're keeping the peace. So Mr. Weir clearly just doesn't understand. And as you said, his followers either they're just blindly following him or they themselves don't even know what they're talking
Because it bothers me when this guy continues to act like, you know, he he is the peace master. Let me put it that way, the peace master. And the country, peace is rested on him. And the day he snaps his finger, the country loses its peace. And we are your 49 million to burn all down if you ask to pay. You're non-street resident, you're not sleeping there if you ask to pay. I used to feel sorry for him, but now the way he acting, I don't feel sorry. Because it hurts me. This thing, you already stole enough. Be quiet. Be quiet. Where in the world you take your wife and put her on a budget of the people money? She's not contributing anything to the country. Nothing whatsoever. You put her on the country's money. You gotta build one funny place, the impressive and the impression. Moses, I was making plan with you the other day.
about.
The impressive and the impression. But because the build one impressive, they need to change the whole doggone building name or village name
Impressive.
instead of Hope Village or whatever children or Hope, whatever it's called. But you don't own. You're talking about promises. You made promises. Coastal Highway, Bali Island, People will be riding the ferry on the Stockton Creek. You did all of these things. You said
My
it.
man,
Then,
Volcano, why you facing it? The man didn't say ferry, the man said water boat.
oh, water boat. Okay. Okay. Well,
I know whether they get land boat. What's
yeah,
the boat?
water boat.
I know they own water. Why you say water boat?
You got boat supposed to be for water. Eh? So you do all the things. And we even you bet to a makeshift park. The park cost is less than what the park is. Eh? You put the money in your pocket, but then you still coming to fight for some. Look at it, man, and we'll come to the clip. But Moses, I will just started the conversation that this guy continued to think that he did us a favor as Liberians by conceding because the margin was so tight and this and that. Oh man, 1-0. They may not football player. He's already know what it means 1-0. When you win somebody, you gotta win them by 10 goals. You can win the game by 1-0. And that one I can hide.
Yeah.
They all
Exactly.
90 minutes you couldn't redeem. They gave you overtime, you couldn't redeem. They get a man overtime, and still couldn't redeem himself. Let Joe we have stopped the thing because my man, I said I used to feel sorry for him, but I will not feel sorry for Moses. Come in.
Yeah. But look, first, let me say hi to you and Alfonso and the many followers. I apologize for coming a little bit late. I was having some technical glitch in the background. You see me coming with a different means tonight. Look, I want to join you and Alfonso. And let me tell Mr. Weah this. In the history of Liberia, when we're talking about presidents, George Weah is the least. He's the worst thing that ever happened to Liberia. You need to understand this. This guy is a follower. He doesn't understand anything that has to do with leadership. It's all about personal ego, personal ego, personal ego. He's a self-centered man. He's a greedy man. George Weah is that type of president. He's a failure. Let's start with the nonsense that he spewed or the other day.
No,
He
we're gonna
called a news conference.
yeah,
But let me just delve into that.
yeah.
The idiot had the audacity to mobilize the media. People show up in the numbers. The next two over there, he read for 28 minutes without making no eye contact. And he called himself a leader. He can't even read at a 6th grade level. And he stood over there and he talked a whole lot of nonsense, talking about, oh, well, he's a peacemaker. What kind of peacemaker are you? When you're doing everything to undermine the rule of law in the country, how do you assemble journalists to tell you how idiotic you are? You can't even take one question. One question. The man read yesterday. He basically read a recitation. Recitation. He ran out of the place to tell you how idiotic he is. And you think he's some kind of hero in Liberia. George Weah is the worst thing that ever happened to Liberia. And all the clowns running behind him, he's doing everything to undermine the peace and stability of the country. Mr. Weah needs to be told that he's the least. He's a nobody. He's a non-entity. Yeah, let me stop there.
And then let's backtrack quick before I go to the clip. If there's anyone who should claim the mantra for peace, it's Charles Taylor. Let me be practically honest here tonight. It should be Charles Taylor, who became the sacrificial lamb for peace. When Samuel Doe said, no way, I ain't giving it. I will stay here and fight.
Yeah.
He said, let me buy my bag, go sit down and cook my potato.
Of course.
British prison. So, Alfonso, please make a comment on this before we move to it. Tell me.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
George Weah shouldn't claim that somehow he's the peacemaker of Liberia. He made a contribution. UNICEF selected him as a peace ambassador as a way of appealing to young people. He even bungled that. He did very little when it came to what UNICEF expected of him. Because young people were in the process. Young people were the ones being used. Young people fighting in the war. They thought he would use his international clout to appeal to young people to leave the war and to put their arms down and to attract resources so they can be, put into training programs, so they can be rehabilitated. So a number of programs, alternative programs, can be put into place other than going to fight war. So we are even felt in that. He thinks that going to Buruboran camp and playing soccer with people in Canada was why UNICEF wanted him. No,
Mhm.
look at other UNICEF ambassadors around the world today. Look at other UNICEF ambassadors and what they are doing around the world when they put them in place. They go around and they put programs in place and they generate the necessary resources to impact, to affect the situation that they are covering. Mr. Weah received a significant award here in the United States for his soccer prowess. What came out of it? Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing for Liberia. So this guy has always felt, unfortunately, the young people who are now much of the voting population in Liberia, when they grew up, there was a war where people were being killed, and there was this one Liberian who was shining on the international stage, and that was George Weah.
I
So they
already know.
grew up with George Weah as the president. So that is the reason why they followed George Weah. But George Weah has never really contributed much to Liberia. He's always,
Let me,
almost always
and,
taken away.
and quickly, let me add to what you said.
Yeah.
With all of the accolades he got, disarmament, he should have created soccer villages. The little boys who are toting guns, throw them into soccer villages to become soccer icons today. This man played soccer at the highest level, got the biggest prize or whatever you want to call it, the accolade title, whatever. Go look in Liberia. What did he do there? Zero.
Absolutely nothing.
Zero. Zero the man did in Liberia when it comes to the game of soccer. The Lone Star owner, he went nowhere. The very one opportunity we had to go to the World Cup, woman business, all here in man, foreign base. They slept all over the place in Monrovia town when Ghana beat the hell out of them instead of making it to the World Cup. What has this man done? What's the contribution of George Weah that he must be threatening the peace of Liberia with man of Jefferson Koji with 64 teeth in his mouth? And all these guys that behind the scene here, standing behind. What man is serious about the movement of his country going forward, will stand with all these hooligans behind him, red beret and stuff, struggling to read his own doggone speech, who wrote it, whether he wrote it or not. This is unfortunate. I've been sorry for this guy, but tonight I am seriously offended by his threats of the peace of Liberia. Because at the end of the day, when you light fire on the house, everybody will burn in it. Everybody. The peace ambassador of Liberia is not Lema Bowie. The peace ambassador of Liberia is not Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. The peace ambassador of Liberia is Charles Taylor. Charles Taylor could have fought back, could have created more problems for that country. And let's talk so too. But he showed his two hands and the put handcuff on it, and he walked away.
Walked away.
Walked away. Let's give him his credit as well. Like it, take it.
He had no choice.
Okay, no.
He was constrained to do that, but
But
I,
it
I,
When he had no
yeah,
choice.
and
okay.
yeah, and Volcano, just to piggyback quickly, not to cut you off, just to piggyback on what you said, comparatively, I think Mr. Taylor is more of a nationalist than this idiot called George Weah. The man is very sensitive. He's just a greedy man.
Yeah.
Everything must be about him. What is not about him, it is not good.
You come to the
What man is
airport,
this?
they gave you the opportunity to go through the VIP. You say no, all your people must come and land the airport because you still want to act like you're president. Then you
Yeah.
get in hand. Then you pass through the people where all the passengers supposed to be. You jump there, you bring that whole crowd. Then
Yes.
people deploy the military thinking something going on just to keep peace and stability. Your stupid people run in the legislature, where you need Foco or South Foco or whatever, jump in where you need that he needs South Foco.
Yes, Foco, yeah.
Come in there
Yeah.
and talk why you deployed, why Joseph Boy. What kind of nonsense is this? They make you see how past president behave. Look at Jonathan Goodluck. Look at Olusegun Obasanjo. Do you see Olusegun Obasanjo going against what a man Tinubu, jumping all over the place? Do you
But
see over Joe Biden?
on the Volcano, don't even go other Liberia. Just take away Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. For the 6 years that I almost sat in Liberia, did she ever say anything that Mr. Weah was doing? Did she try to undermine him?
That Christmas tree that the one first they had, the opulence Christmas tree.
Yeah, go ahead, Volcano. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Man, look at that. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Look at him.
This is only
never presidential.
This should be only campaign season. We ain't get there yet. And no amount of noise you can make will bring you back to power, George Weah. No amount of noise you can make. I don't care what you do. You will not be president again in Liberia. The people will not be that stupid. Let's hear from him.
Watch that video and look at that idiot video.
That the CDC will use all legal and political means at their disposal to resist this move to weaponize the country's judicial system to its selfish advantage. Yes, Mr. Boakai, the action to politicize justice will be resisted and resisted strongly. The United Party government, in the execution of their civil and the evil plan, choose to ignore legal and constitutional reliance, available evidence, and pursue reckless measures. The United Party must be reminded that these antics have only brought about disorder and confusion in Liberia's recent history. The national security laws of the country clearly stipulate the measures that must be taken to safeguard public order. In the post-conflict nation such as ours, it becomes an even more challenging task. Intelligence, gathering, and operations the world over have always been of prime concern and prime eminence, requiring authority to exert extra efforts, resources to preserve peace and security. The CDC-led administration remains proud of its record to preserve the peace, security, and welfare of the country, even during the raging COVID-19 pandemic. And at times, when the security of the state was at stake. I'm also deeply proud of my record as president, particularly my unwavering respect for the rule of law and my relentless fight against corruption. You may recall that during my presidency, we advanced the fight against corruption on many fronts, including granting the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission LACC direct prosecutory powers, which is critical to the fight against corruption. So
let's stop there. We'll come back to him. Listen to this nonsense he said.
Yeah, go ahead.
About the LACC giving the prosecutory power. He revamped the LACC. Now the LACC doesn't work, then you say that wish home? But you say you fought for corruption? For real?
Yeah.
When you had to be coerced to ask McGill to leave? When all the cries on Samuel Toure today now is out? Maybe had he taken action, maybe Samuel Toure would not have taken 6.2 million. After the 25 million, it was sufficient enough. So what is this guy talking about? You writing, you talking, to say, look at the audience. You had the camera set up, people here all in front of you, cell phone all in your face. Then you say you former president. You don't even know how to mount a podium. You don't even know how to create the atmosphere so that you are respectable. Well, you got all these people standing behind you there to say we're in war or we're about to go to war or we in campaign and we campaigning. What is this? This is mockery. Go ahead, Moses.
Look, I want to tell Mr. Weah and his followers that tonight we came to shame him. We came to denigrate him. We came to tell him that he's a nobody and he has no authority. Liberians are not stupid. They're not going to support an idiot to take the country back to war. That's what we came to tell him tonight. I told you, this man made journalists to travel from far and near. They assembled in the numbers. You could see the number of journalists that were in our place. The man talking to the journalists, reading at a third grade level. Reading at a third grade level. He barely pronounced words. He called the word killers as Carlos. Preeminence. He said preempts. Idiotic he is. He talked to the journalists. He read for 28 hours.
Minutes.
Never made eye contact with anybody.
28 minutes, not hours.
28 minutes. This man read for 28 minutes without making eye contact with nobody. Because why? He read a recitation. Somebody just wrote something and gave it to him. It took the man almost 3 weeks to memorize that. He still couldn't make eye contact. And there's the man who run here around telling people, say, you elaborate best presume. You're talking about empowering the LACC. Did you really tackle the issue of corruption? What is the status of the late Batin Niswa and the auditors that were murdered during your administration? And you're talking about fighting corruption? What happened to those auditors? Did you not foolishly tell Liberians that Madam Gefte and the other gentlemen were having sex? Did you not tell Liberians that, Mr. Weah? And you're talking about tackling corruption? Your people stole over $6.2 million. And you had the audacity to talk about people being witch hunted. But I like the response from President Boakai. He said, only witches, they worry when they hear about what? Witch hunters. If I'm not a witch, why would I be bothered about witch hunter being in the town? Why would I panic when people talk about police in the town when I know that I'm not a criminal? You're having sleepless night because you know you are a witch. You stole a lot. That's why you're not having regular sleep. And you're trying to instigate crisis? You're trying to create unnecessary tension in the country? Mr. Weah, you are a former president. You are powerless. You try any nonsense in our country, the people will contain the situation and you will ever regret it. Let me give it to you guys.
Alphonso?
Yeah. If you even listen or read, I had the opportunity to read it. I tried to listen to it when he was giving that speech, and I just couldn't listen. It was very difficult. I felt sorry for him.
He's a poor reader.
The presentation was so horrible, I just couldn't listen, and I started blaming the people who wrote it for him. But let's go into what he actually was saying. Never, not a single place in that speech did Mr. Weah deny that he or his officials that were charged ever committed the things, the crimes that they were charged with. Never. Never did Mr. Weah say, my administration and myself are committed to the accountability in this country and holding people accountable for corruption and other excesses. All Mr. Weah said was, oh, that witch hunt, because you should treat all other reports equally. You should go back to 12 years of the Unity Party and all of that. The people who were corrupt yesterday are the people who are coming after us today. Mr. Weah, that is not a valid argument. It's like somebody driving on 95, he's speeding, the police pulling over, they say, why you didn't pull all the other drivers who are speeding over? The policeman can pull everybody
He said,
over.
he
Not
said, but man,
if
you wish on the my car you pull
over,
over, right?
yeah, oh, yeah. Are you waiting? So you're not denying that you're speeding. You're not denying you don't have insurance. You're not denying you don't have lights and you're traveling at night. You are saying they should pull everybody else over before they come to you. What kind of
Mm-hmm.
argument is that?
Yeah.
Even the baby can make that. But that's precisely the argument. Sadly, the men who were president of our country for 6 years, that's the level of argument he was making in that whole speech. And Moses and Volcano, you're right. The purpose of that whole speech was not to deny that they stole money, that they looted the country. The purpose was to instill fear in people, to incite people, so they don't go after them and bring their evil deeds to them. The challenge is to President Boakai and his government. They must not relent, they must not waver in this fight. The problem in Liberia is not resources. The problem in Liberia is not a lack of laws. The problem in Liberia is enforcing our laws and holding people accountable for whatever they do. And because we have failed over, Mr. Weah did not prosecute or did not go after Ellen era officials because he came with the intention of stealing. He came with the intention. He came with the intention of looting the country. So he couldn't prosecute other people who also looted. So he said, well, we're here, it's our time. They came with that mantra, it's our time to eat. That's what they came with. And they massively looted that country. Now he's asking Boakai to go back and prosecute people. Well, we have laws. And sadly and unfortunately, Liberian criminal procedure law says that you cannot prosecute felonies after 5 years. Mr. Weah was in power for 6 years. What that means is that those people who stole honor Ellen have the statute of limitation has already run out for a lot of them.
And that's due to his failure.
Who's to blame?
Good.
Who's to blame? Due to his failure. Due to his failure to prosecute these people, when we take them to court, even if Boakai wanted to prosecute them, it would be a challenge because they will hire lawyers and the lawyers will go to court and say, well, you can't prosecute my client. The statute of limitation has expired. Who's responsible for that? Mr. Weah. Now he's asking Boakai to go back and do that? Does that even make sense? But then again, as I was talking to somebody today, Mr. Weah doesn't have that level of understanding and intelligence to be able to comprehend these kinds of things. So that makes it even difficult to argue with him and to push back on him. There's statute of limitation in this country. They get statute of limitation too for certain things, and the statute of limitation has expired, and he caused it, and he came back and stole. He committed two grievous crimes against the people of Liberia.
And interestingly,
So
again, as I said,
uh-huh.
again, as I said, they think the CDC think that they own a greater portion of the country, and what they've done is to maintain the peace. And I keep saying, and I think you guys, if you remembered when we are considered, I was the same person who said, but he had no option. You say, oh, you know what? Let's get him the credit because any African leader. So now
Yeah, we gain the credit. Yeah.
But that's what goes into his head. Because my man, when you lose, you lose.
Of course.
You not go to the VAR. And if we went to the VAR saying he know how to play soccer, if we go to the VAR, he lost. What about one vote? It said 50 plus one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there's no way he can make that argument because the margin was small. So it means that he could have stolen the elections and he regretting. Because I still hear CDcian saying, we told him he might not give it. He should declare himself president. But, hey man, in this modern day, do you know your 29 million are free? Your non-street resident, brother-in-law Duncan will be riding canoe to find a way to Jamaica. You try the Liberian people elections after you taking 6 years out of them. What is the secret here, gentlemen? What is the secret? I'm coming. I'm not asking the question. What is the secret here when you have people who in a small country, underdeveloped, that cannot hide their corrupt practices. There's no way to polish it. The country is so small. Monrovia, you guys haven't been there. Monrovia has not enlarged it. It is the same landmass. It is the same tight little place. I've shown you videos of Monrovia. I was just there between March and May. I show you how Monrovia is dark at night. So nothing is hidden. You can't hide your corruption in Liberia, because we know when you had nothing, and we know when your guts start getting big, and then when it's so big, we know it. We know when you never had walkie-talkie, now you're holding walkie-talkie, clear the road, clear the road, clear the road. We know when you know. So corruption cannot hide in Liberia. You can hide corruption here in America. You have 50 states to go. You can go build one building in Montana and put your money in there, right? You can do that. But what you are doing in Monrovia, the people around you hungry, the people around you starving, the people around you balking your hitting your iron gate, the people around you sitting at your gate. So now they make it into the fence, they're waiting on the palawa hut for you. So you can't hide corruption. So the people see that you didn't do well. You brought some boys who were barely wearing shoes to wearing shoes. They were not even using roll-on before I say cologne. They never wore coat suit in their lives. They never flew plane. In fact, the man first fly out of the country, what did he do? He almost carried the whole country on his cabinet. Because why? Everybody wanted to ride plane, an airplane. Many of his trips, he carried some unnecessary people on his trips. What did he do? Put money in the pocket, because they had to get what? Stipends and per diem for those trips made.
Yep.
That's what those were monies that could be going to other things in the country. So what are you talking about here, President Weah, former? What are you talking about? What can you do to threaten the peace and stability of Liberia? What can you do? Take the exercise in good stride. Hopefully, by the time the exercise can subside or go a little slower, we have accomplished some positives out of it. We may have regained, restituted some monies. But most of the money sitting right in our country in borrowing. Can get some back to do other things for the country. That can help to exonerate you. But when you come aligning yourself with a very criminal, I heard in close quarters that you acted like you didn't know about this 6.2 million. The man that took your money to put in the pocket, you know anything. Then you want to come down to defend and talk about witch hunt? Get out of here. You had every opportunity. You sat in that meeting, you said you would protect Madam Sally and her children. You said it. Nobody forced you. Madam Sally herself was shaking because you were the most populous president. Any action we have taken would have been popular. The people who have sided with him. You blew it because you came with the intention to steal yourself, and you proved it. That's all it is. So it's not about witch hunt. Boakai don't have anything to lose. That's the man, our old man, 78, 79, coming up in November. He got nothing to lose. But it's small he can do for the Liberian people to hold corruption. If you know, he's not choking, he's just color. You know how you color? Yeah. He even start choking corruption, he's just gonna color it, then you're jumping. They come in when they start choking corruption, maybe yourself, George Weah will go. Go ahead, Alphonso.
I think you're not doing George Weah, what Moses, particularly in you, when you said the man must keep quiet. There's a reason why the men are keeping quiet. There's a reason why the men talking. The men know the people getting close to him.
The
color man, he said, oh, but the thing they holding my man there for, I said, I did it, my hand is out. Let me run quickly and go across something so they can't reach to me. That is exactly what Mr. Weah is doing. Mr. Weah is very much aware of the massive stealing that went on in that country. Mr. Weah participated in it. As president, is he telling us he's not aware that they put somebody, the FIA, the person ever who's supposed to be fighting corruption and following money laundering and financial intelligence agency. You put him on the National Security Council because they came and they had the belief that look, security agencies cannot be audited. So when we take the money and say it's for security purposes, for security reasons, then they will not audit us. So let's do it this way. Let's take this guy, put him on the Security Council. Then when we ask him for the money, he can just go and easily get it to us. Then I can just pass it on to him easily because for security reasons, it's for investigations and all of that. That's how they laid their hands on that money. They used some of that money for their campaign. They lined their pockets. They bought houses in Ivory Coast and other countries, and built mansions. I saw the picture of a house in Monrovia the other day when Spoon went there. The fence alone. I mean, these young people came to loot that country to the point that they couldn't even they had to even cut money to hospitals just to put it in their pocket. Under Ellen Sirleaf, the money to hospitals was $200,000 a year per county hospital, which was even small.
But
We
200,000.
had then came to cut it to $100,000 per year. Can $100,000 run a hospital for a year? Worse, they didn't even send the money to those hospitals. When the U.S. ambassador toured the country and came back, he made that statement. McCarthy. He spoke with the hospital administrators and everybody. And he said, we haven't even received the $100,000 that they put in the budget for our hospital, so we can't function. The U.S. government was the one that was providing medication to be sent to those hospitals. How cruel can you be? How cruel can you be? The service centers around the country all broke down. These boys did not care. Two of them were buying houses in Abidjan, in Ivory Coast, and they didn't care about the plight of the people in the country. You telling me about witch hunt? What makes that a witch hunt? You stole money, they're coming after you. Then you say witch hunt? Well, here's the deal. All the government does is the government charges you. Once the government charges you, they send you to court. The same courts you left there, by the way, is the judges. You go to the court and make an argument through your lawyers or yourself that you're not guilty. You will be judged by a jury of your peers. That's our legal system. So go there, Mr. Tue and Mr. Whoever and all those people, and make the case that you are not guilty. And let the jurors listen to your case, let the judges listen to your case. And if you're not guilty, they'll exonerate you. What made you think that under your administration, the people you sent to court that were convicted didn't believe that the court system was not fair to them? But that is the court system, and that is what we will have to live by. That is what democracy is. So it's not sufficient to be given press statements or press conferences or what. It can't save you at this point. The fact of the matter is go to court. And again, I want to charge President Boakai and his administration to forge ahead. That's the only thing that can save life. If we go back to business as usual, we just charge people to make no, we leave it, hey, let's leave it, let's so we can have peace, Liberia will not make progress. And all of us, what we're doing tonight, we want to call all the Liberian people to join this campaign to pressure Mr. Boakai and his administration to forge ahead with this process, and to also shame Mr. Weah and tell we're not standing behind you. If you steal, you got to bear the consequences. Somebody was telling me, and I'll close on this piece, that even though President Weah and people are issued statements saying all the county officials and all the partisans must come to the party headquarters, he was going to address the nation. I understand the crowd, the people that turned out, was very little. I hope that sent a message to Mr. Weah that the Liberian people are now ready to follow him down into the gutter of disrupting our peace and undermining our democracy.
Thank you, Alphonso. Look, listen, if you just joining us, you're here in the issues room with Volcano, Moses, and Alfonso Yeno. We're here tonight discussing the Weah's address to his CDcian base. I'm not going to call it a nationwide address because it was not a nationwide address. It was just to incite and bring his base together. And also President Boakai refuted as to if you're a witch, then we're going to go after you. And also he addresses the cabinet today. He held a cabinet meeting, and he has some stern messages for them. We'll come to the current president, but we were just trying to make that comparison when former President Weah continue to exemplify himself as the one who sustained Liberia's peace. Liberia's peace was sustained by support from the international community, monies that were put in that country that was mismanaged by your government, that was mismanaged by the Elling's government. We start with them. They contributed immensely to the peace of Liberia. We want to also give congratulations to ECOMOG, to the brothers, the foreign brothers who lost their lives. When you were there playing football and getting your accolades, when you were about yourself, when ECOMOG troops were in Liberia from member countries in the sub-region. So you really didn't sustain Liberia's peace. Liberia's peace was sustained by the willpower of the Liberian people to say enough is enough. Ellen Johnson then winning Nobel Peace Prize. Come on, that's all nonsense to me. People whose lives were taken. People who put resources into it. The international community. What did you bring to the presidency? You say you were $80 million strong. You came to the presidency with $80 in your pocket. You claim you were $80 million strong.
Yep.
But you came to the presidency of Liberia with $80 in your pocket. In fact, when you were sitting down around the place, you were pushing all your people who were in Ellen government to send you money every month when they take pay. Not only that, when you became a senator, you barely did anything in the Senate. Nothing you did. You just show up and sat down.
Mm-hmm.
You just sat down.
Money.
So what are you talking about, George Weah? I said I felt sorry for you. Now tonight is the night you gotta prove to us in the issues room, what did you do for Liberia? What did you do for Liberia? Everything is in your name.
The Bay Playground.
Everything is in your name. All the accolades you want is in your name, or in your name rather. So nothing is for Liberia. But just like Alphonso said, the children who voted for you in a majority did not know the history of the war, did not know your contribution. That small football you play for yourself, and the small thing you were doing around the place, you know, that the one night you taking to make yourself the demigod in the country, and you're talking about, I maintain the peace. If you didn't maintain the peace, were you going to be president? Let's be practically honest now, Alphonso. You the president, if you don't maintain the peace, will you be president? So the truth here is, you didn't do Liberians a favor. Liberians did you a favor by making you president, and you couldn't deliver. So as a result, we're where we are today. And be content. Be content with what you've stolen. They haven't gotten to you yet. The process started with your lieutenants, those who you created the LASC or LACC rather for. You say you're taking credit for that. You didn't utilize this, the LACC, the persecutory powers and all of that you gave to it. You didn't utilize it. You forgot there were statutes of limitation, and you didn't go after Ellen because you promised you would support her, you would protect her and her children. You did it to yourself. So stop crying and playing the blame game. You had 6 years to persecute. You had 6 years to go after people. You went after Brownie Samokai. After you sat in a negotiation with Brownie and Ellen and say your government are going to take responsibility for it, then you turn around because the man won a seat in Lofa and he didn't go with your party. You got vexed. You did mango. You took the man victory from him, and you put in Joseph Jara. You forced the CDC cap on the woman here, and he became CDcian overnight. You didn't rest there. You went after Cabinet Janet because you felt that this day will come. You know, all the stealing, when we do it, we need the law to be on our side. All the stealing, when we do it, down the road, we need the law on our side. What you started doing, changing the judges so you can have judges from the CDC and from the southeastern region. That's what you were doing. And you thought you had your plan map up. But Liberian people had a message for you, one term. These guys were operating on 12 years. In fact, they were saying 24. I don't know how they were going to change the constitution, whether it was going to be a referendum, whatever they were going to do. But the people had promised 24 years in power. Oh, but Liberian people say, okay. And you say, we might have CCTV, that you're the one that will have CCTV. They take the presidency back, then you can't sleep. Everybody's just confused. Akaros Gray, I heard they say he working in the speaker.
Yes, Speaker Kofa.
Can you imagine?
Former chair or executive.
Let's listen to him small more. Let's get him small more before we go
People,
to let's get him small more.
You see, look at Sibo, how you looking behind it.
Sustain and further advance this fight. We should not allow anyone the road gains we have made. To utilize its new power to fight corruption effectively, the LACC must treat all audit reports from the General Auditing Commission, the GSC, equally without cherry picking to ensure fairness and transparency. Skipping previous GSC audit reports and cherry picking to target only the officials of my administration undermine the fight against corruption. And the Liberian people must see such a move as the weaponizing of the LACC to wish harm officials of my administration. Thank you, my fellow compatriots. I love our country and I've always put our country's interests above and beyond my personal interests. I have championed peace and stability for man, advocating for a ceasefire during the Civil War, leading disarmament efforts to bring peace, serving as the peace ambassador, and the most recent by conceding the election even before the pronouncement of final result. You can attest to my selfless and unwavering commitment to the peace, stability, and the betterment of our full country, our pure country. Sadly, it seems that the Boakai administration is interpreting our commitment to the peace and stability of our country as a weakness, and therefore keen on disturbing the peace by weaponizing key government functionaries to wish on officials of the past government. For the UP administration to exploit our legal system and risk fomenting chaos, it tells you to what extent some politicians are willing to go just to maintain power. This is exactly the fact that the citizens sought not to trade, but it maintain the stability of the country against all odds.
So the man said we shouldn't take him for weakness. And I say we because it's Liberian people peace is threatening. Right, Moses?
Yeah, but look, let me just say this, man. I want to throw this open challenge to Mr. Weah. The challenge I want to throw to Mr. Weah and the CDC is that if he thinks that he's more Liberian than the rest of the people, let him lead the people tomorrow. Let them get in the street and you will see who is who. I mean, Mr. Weah needs to be told the hard truth. The entire West Africa, when you look at presidential history, George Weah comes as an embarrassment not only to Liberia, but to the entire West Africa. I mean, look at this guy. a quote unquote master's degree holder, can barely read at a sixth grade level. The man recitated that speech for over 2 weeks and he still embarrassed himself. Look how embarrassing it was for those people standing behind him. Those fanatics, those blind loyalists, those sycophants. And the man is still delusional, thinking that he's still president. He said he called himself what? The president of the opposition. Can you imagine that, Volcano? The man called himself president of the opposition. He thinks that he's in competition with the current administration. And let me say this: we're not doing it because we support the CDC. We're doing this because we think our people deserve better. And George Weah is not one of those.
No, you mean
He,
not the CDC, you mean the UP.
I know what I'm saying.
Oh, no, you said
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we're not doing this
uh,
because we support
the UP.
the UP.
Okay.
We're doing this because we think that our people deserve better. And time for the correction of Canada. Mr. Weah has to be told that he's not more Liberian than the rest of the people. If he thinks that he's more Liberian than the rest of the people and he has the audacity to cause chaos in the country, let him put the people in the street tomorrow. And then he will get to know who is who. You know, this man is doing everything to cause trouble in our country. Mr. Boakai is treating him with diplomacy, is treating him with due respect, yet he doesn't respect himself. I don't know if you guys are aware. Today, the former security advisor to Mr. Weah, the former Solicitor General from
You
the
know,
Justice Ministry,
we know they've been
yeah,
on bill. We
they've been released on bail, right? Okay,
talk about that before.
yeah. How did they raise this $12 million bill? That tells you that George Weah is fully aware of how that money was used. It is Mr. Weah. When the guys left prison, where did they go to? They went to the CDC. They went to see Mr. Weah to celebrate. How can you be undermining the rule of law? And you talk about leading the campaign against leading the campaign against dishonesty in the country. This is not nationalism, gentlemen.
Let's go to President Boakai about the whole
Yes,
accusation put by him. It's just a quick clip, and you can see it was kind of edited by Spoon Network.
yeah, go ahead.
Put this on Facebook. Sorry, I didn't put the volume up.
Our efforts, we owe no apology to anyone who considered our efforts witch-hunt, because only witches are being hunted. We owe no apology to anyone who considered our efforts witch-hunt,
Because the witches are being haunted. Yeah.
So only witches are being hunted, so we owe no apologies to
No
anyone.
apology.
So all I know is you want to make George Weah, go ahead and make it. When we just want to color your man, and we start choking, then yeah, we just color them. You know when you color somebody, yeah,
Then the man tell you to my man leave a car on me.
yeah. I want to take you to man. Then we start choking, man. We start choking, yellow, because when they start choking, you just
Yeah.
said,
He said, oh, my
so,
man, you holding my share. I told my man leave a car.
yeah, leave my color, like when we get be more talking about he maintaining the peace. So,
But you don't forget her.
he's a
Quickly, right? Quickly, I beg you guys
just
know.
in Jamaica with your wife and enjoy the final days.
Well, look, let me say this, right? Forget it is like they say, oh my man, the police will be in Newcastle today. You know, they will be there doing, security inspection. Then you go in from house to house telling the people, but I'm gonna have trouble here. So what the people coming do here again? But the people say, but man, what you gotta worry? The people ain't coming for you. They just doing security inspection. Go sit down to your house. And that's what we see President Weah is doing. They say we're going after the corrupt, the dishonest, and the mess having sleepless night. What have you done? Oh, that witch hunt. That witch hunt. But my man, you are not a witch. They say that old lady down the street, she's a witch. Now why they brought the Sasa Wu for? Then you go all right. You see the people in the town, they left trouble. What they bring in Sasa Wu man in the town for? You know?
So Sam Bondo is saying here he hopes that the rest of those guys wasn't just a news headline. You know, Sam, you're right. But I
Yeah,
don't think it would be just a news headline. They have to follow the rule of
yeah,
law.
yeah.
If the people can post a bond and it's genuine and the court
Mhm,
accepts it, then they must be let out with the lawyers and given the time to come back.
mhm.
So that's for anyone who's able to pay the bond to be able to be out of prison. Nobody wants to sleep in South Beach if they can afford it. So let's hope for the best. But President Boakai also held a cabinet meeting
Meaning that, yeah.
today, and in that cabinet meeting, he was very stern. I can see some recognizable people here. I think this is Geraldine Pierre right here. Pierre. Uh,
Mhm.
I'm not sure if this is Kofi Woods right here. It looks like him. And there's Jeremiah Kuhn sitting right next to the president. But I'm still kind of bothered by this whole cell phone thing they got and can put on top of the little small little tripod and say, how do they catch the audio from this kind of stuff?
Yeah.
The media needs to do better. Everybody, look, if I were the press secretary, you come down there with cell phone, you're not entering. You come over there with cell phone, you're not entering. And the place must be set up prior with all of the microphones and the best feeding system for audibility to go, you know, international. But you can't have the president speak. The woman also cannot talk. He's not a loud talker. That's
Yeah.
I
So
got
they need sharp
yeah,
microphone.
yeah. That's not, I mean, he doesn't. He's just like you, Moses. You're laid back. When we trying to put fire, you there. Oh, you know, and then. Yeah. So that how Baka talks. So that's why he needs better audio. But look at the thing that the man can set up. So let's try to hear him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
try to hear him because we're trying to hear him. But he said some good things to his
Oh
minister.
yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
try to hear
Oh,
him.
yeah.
So for the audience sake, let's try to hear him. Let's be quiet. Thank you.
Anybody doing your work, your question, you who are ministers, you have the primary responsibility of making sure that you do what you want to do. One of the things I'd like to emphasize here is that no minister should expect that we are going to solve your problem on a day-to-day basis. You as minister, you are ministers, you have to make the people know that you are the minister. Further procedure, if they are not behaving as they should, you warn them adequately. We only here for last resort. If somebody is working with you and they are not cooperating, then we come to us, we'll take a decision. I tell you people, we are here to serve the Liberian people. Anybody who comes with a hidden agenda, you'll be there. But when we fire you, we're not going back to the person who recommended you. It's not going to be so. It is about time that we know that we're serving the people of this country. It's about time that this is 177 years that the people are suffering and that we are here to serve them. I'm not afraid of anybody. God will protect us.
Let's stop there. We finish what we are. No more we are. This is biker time now. We're done with we are. Biker say that you, the minister, you must take charge. You must do your job. The people that are working with you take control over them. We want to be the last resort. Not every small thing you can't run into me. So, like in the case of a Fadiga and a AB Kraman. Sorry, your mic is closed. Sorry. I had to do it because of the audio. Okay, good. So like a Fadiga and an AB Kraman. Instead of jumping all in the media to make noise, you AB Kraman, you should have taken charge. Bring the man in your office. You're the boss. Set your parameters. Have that conversation. Now, let Boakai be the last resort. That's what Boakai is saying. So if you come in my government with hidden agenda, I don't care who recommended you, whether that MDR and Prince Johnson, he can threaten all he wants.
You will not come back.
You will not come back. Whether that Jeremiah Kun sitting Red Army, you see, he looking at Jeremiah Kun with sheep out. Just forget it. Be your own with God. That's the message of a leader.
Yeah.
He said, for 177 years, the Liberian people want something out of us now. And I will not be afraid of anybody with God on our side. We will succeed. So for George Weah to be talking about the peace he kept and the peace that he can destroy or disturb, he on his own. What you guys say to that before we continue with the old man? At the old man time, we ain't here for George Weah talk again.
Well,
the old man.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So,
No.
all right, President Boakai needs to stand his ground and implement his agenda. And the way to do it is to make sure that the various agencies and ministries of government are in line with that agenda. They carry on certain aspects of the agenda as per the legal mandate given to each ministry and agency. And I think he sent that message very clearly today. One important message he sent that you also emphasized, Volcano, is that we have a tendency of running to the president to solve all the problems. And whenever we do that, we create detectors of our leaders. We overwhelm them. Every government, ministry, or agency in Liberia has a law that created it. And that law outlines certain functions and certain powers assigned to certain officials within that government. Within that agency of government. As the Minister of Justice, here is your power over your officials, and here are the things you're supposed to do. As the Minister of Agriculture, here are your powers and here are your functions. And I think President Boakai drove the message home today. Stop running to me. Go read the law that created your agency. Go read about what powers the law gave you and the powers that the law did not give you, and follow that and implement what you're supposed to implement within the confines of the law and within furtherance of our agenda, our arrest agenda. And if you don't follow it, you will be held accountable. So President Boakai is not just quoting, contrary to what former President Weah said, is not just quoting former President Weah's government, former government officials accountable. He's also holding his own officials accountable in terms of what they need to do to deliver to the Liberian people.
Let me just add this while you're in flight. Where did we ever hear Weah spoke like this to his people?
No.
Continue.
I never heard that. Yeah, never heard that. Never heard former President Weah say he's coming to address the nation. But when it comes to corruption and they're trying to arrest him, and people then say come and address the nation.
No, don't say arrest. Just say to try to call
So,
on them.
I think
Just say to try to
They call on
Yeah.
call on the man.
They call Alphonso, man, come in. That you took that money, then say, oh, but the reality is that particular meeting, cabinet meeting, and the address that President Boakai gave to that meeting today is, guys, we're here for a piece of time. The Liberian people hire us to deliver. It's been too long. My man, 177 years. The capital city doesn't even have electricity. It doesn't have drinking water. Feces rolling in the streets. We got one national university that's not even all over the country. What are we? We need to do better. And we can't feed ourselves. We're subsidizing rice from China, from India. What sense does that make? So I think the emphasis that the president applied to his officials today, and the warning he gave them, if you don't do your job, we're moving you. That MDR you come from, or that other party you come from, we're not coming to you to get us somebody. We're going to find the right person to do the job. I think that message was sent, and the president must keep emphasizing that message. And I will stop here to give you guys a chance.
Go ahead, Moses.
No, I want to say I am impressed from what I saw today. Mr. Weah led Liberia for 6 years. He held only three cabinet meetings for 6 years. When he had what they call the cabinet retreat, he gave every cabinet minister 3 minutes to make presentation on the progress and challenges at the various ministries. How do you do that, Volcano? If you don't call that insanity, then I don't know what is that. At a cabinet retreat, they gave you 3 minutes. For 6 years, this man held three cabinet meetings. He was never interested in details. Never. And I remember running all over the place with my bringing back in to be president. And one of the main things that people in Liberia are so, stupid. They don't know what they want. So this was laudable. We see leadership. For the last 6 years with the ancient leadership of Alphonso, there was no
No,
leadership. Nobody was in charge. Because we had somebody who was clueless. I heard you say earlier that the guys who are at the various ministry, they should go back and read about the agencies and the ministries that they work for. That's the only way you succeed when you are in leadership position. They may take you and send you to LBS. You may just be an administrator. The first thing you want to do, you want to ask for the act creating LBS. Know what LBS is about. Once you understand that, with your managerial skill, you'll be able to do well. Know your limitations. Know what the job expectations are. You'll be able to manage people. But you go to some of these institutions, you ask them, oh, but my man, what do you guys do? He said, oh, you know what? I will get back to you. And you're talking to top managers. For Canada, you go to the play all the time. If you don't know the role of the institution that you had or where you work at, that's a serious problem. So I agree. I agree with you, Alfonso, that if you want to do well, you got to do some reading. You got to talk to people who've been there. That's the only way you will learn. Not because you minister, it means that you know
Moses,
everything.
there's something scuffling under your hand. Are you
Oh, yeah.
resting on papers and stuff?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Okay.
So what I was saying is that when you go to an institution, like Alfonso said, it is very important. You do some reading. You talk to people that are considered institutional knowledge. Call them in. You learn from them. You get yourself 3 months, you'll be on top of the game. But when you go, you start sweeping, you start removing people and bringing your own people, my brother, it will be difficult for you to
And
succeed.
especially the people who've never worked in that place.
Never work there.
No knowledge of the job only because you won't get in job.
Yeah.
And it didn't get bother me. How do you put people in places where they never work
Mhm.
and you expect that they will do something?
No way.
Especially when the discipline. Most of the men that came in some of these places, they ain't got no experience. But yeah, all because of party patronage. But let's
Yeah.
go back to the old man.
Mhm.
So you come to the cabinet, you come with your hidden agenda to do the same things that you think used to happen with adequate information, just like the way we are going to come behind you. Once we can identify your problem and make sure we know that you leave. And when you leave, I don't care who asks for you to come or you're not coming. So let's make sure of that. Deputy ministers who go and intend to undermine their chiefs, they will leave. We want to make sure the minister will treat you fairly. Because the way I understand our administration, the minister supervises the deputy supervise the assistant, they go down the line. Everybody is an advisor to the president. And everybody there was, we're not going to be there to be a very city and very feeling. President doesn't want to be. You have adequate information on them, you follow it, you look at it, you will never get the serious and believe. I don't care who comes. The Liberian people calling people to come there every night for that. This is why I've got this country where it is. I work, I kept my lane. I work with the president. I advise him. If you're there with bribery with a minister, you're making a mistake. This is serious. We had a retreat. The retreat was very good. The product of the retreat, we hope that the cabinet director will share. And we have said, and we will repeat, that this government is not going to run on social media. We have entities, the Ministry of Information, one also the media that's running for the government, speak for the government. And the social media, we were listening, but it's not going to be the one directing us.
So let's stop there. Let's stop there. Critical point here.
Mhm.
But I think there's a degree of disingenuousness here. The
Mhm.
government will not run on social media. The government will run through the Ministry of Information, but that's not what we're seeing. Before they
Well,
can break,
yeah,
people
well,
leaking out information.
yeah,
Spoon
the
Network got all the information running with it before they can break. So where is that funneling of information and protection of information by the government? What is the role? I'm coming, Moses.
Mhm.
Like, what is the role of the Ministry of Information as the database of
oh,
funneling?
the spokes,
Yeah,
yeah,
funneling whatever you want to Lena and to LBS so that we can take charge. But you have ministers coming, going to this other private radio station speaking, jumping here, jumping there, all of that. So where's that coordination? I don't think there's a coordination. I truly don't think. So you are a media man, a
Mhm.
first media man. You're
And
telling
you're a media man too.
well, I take myself from there.
Okay, so
From there.
let
So
me,
I just wanted to say quickly now. So he
yeah,
says that we'll not run the government on social media. He pointed to the Ministry of Information, minister sitting there. And but that's not what we see in reality. Before
yes,
they can break, all the government secrets all over the place. Before it can even manifest, it's already public. Because why people want to show that they have power over information, they have control over information. They got information, they can get it, and no matter what, they'll get it. Coming.
okay. So first, I want to say I applaud the president for saying that. This shows that we as social media podcasters, we are making progress. These people listen to us, they follow us religiously. Uh, I'm sure the three of us that we agree that many times we complain about how splintered, government communication has been for the past months. You have Mo Ali at Water and Sewer making policy statement. You have Madam Belete at the Ministry of State Reform Portfolio making policy statement. The party chairman speaking for the government, and everybody speaking. So that is where he was coming from. Basically, the message he was trying to send to his cabinet was that I would like to see coordination. Not every little thing that has to do with policy pronouncement, you go and start having a news conference on Facebook, coordinated through the Ministry of Information. Let the government speak through the Ministry of Information. Take, for example, like the yellow machine. That pronouncement should have come from the Minister of Information. That is where he was coming from. And I applaud that. So, Alfonso, I give it to you.
Alfonso,
Yeah, I agree. I think.
just before you come in, let me take this
Oh,
caller.
sorry, go ahead.
Hello, caller.
Yeah, Volcano is being Flomo Livingston.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, great show, great show. Look, to be true, rather the president showed leadership today. Like you talking about the information being leaked out. I mean, that's one of the things rather the president cannot control because you always have some people in there that will always leak information. So that it can rather be you cannot stop that. But I mean, what the president trying to tell people, like, instead of someone just, for example, you work at, let me say, LPRC, then you talking like you the the government information minister, you talking what the information minister should talk. I think that I believe that's what he's trying to say. He's trying to tell them, look, whatsoever the government want to put out there for the public to know, let it go through the Ministry of Information. Instead of you who work to public work talking about it. That's not your job. Your job at public work is to work on rules and other things. You should focus on that. I believe that's what he's trying to say. And to be true, he displays the leadership today.
Yeah.
And that's the problem wrong with we like, bro. I think Alfonso spoke on that. That everything we want to run to the leader, to the president. Everything want to run to the president. It shouldn't be like that. You know your responsibility. If you're a deputy minister, you should know why your job sort of be as a deputy minister, a public work or whatsoever position you have. You shouldn't be running to the president. So that means why get hired for that? You know what I'm saying here? When you get hired to any job here, they give you your job description. You don't run to your manager or the CEO all the time to go tell the CEO what should I do. You should do your job. And I like what he told the justice minister. He said, do the job according to the law. Go after people. Don't be afraid. And he gave warning to the executive. I mean, not the executive, the judicial branch. And the judicial branch had to do their job and make sure justice is served. That's the only way it will stop cultural impunity in this country. Or else, trust me, because corruption can fight back. People who get money to fight them is difficult. It's not easy because they want to buy their way out to stop them from getting prosecuted. So that's why he tells the justice minister to focus and not be afraid. He protected. I mean, is there according to him, God will protect this nation. Don't be afraid.
Thank you.
I like that. Yeah, let me just end on this. People are always trying to like to switch blame. Like CDC saying, oh, the president should go back from way anytime so he can be neutral. Look, you were there for 6 years. You had an opportunity. It was your job to do that. You didn't do it, then the other leader come and then you want him to do everything. No, we'll start with your administration because yours is still fresh. Maybe we'll have statute of limitation. I don't know. I think I'm reading something about it. I think it's 5 years for corruption and stuff like that. If we don't do it, then is the limitation passed. So how are you expecting to go way back in 2014 or 2006? Thank you.
Thank you, Flomo. Thank you. Thanks for your contribution. Go ahead, Alfonso.
I think Flomo, I will borrow a phrase from you. Corruption can fight back. Or corruption fight back. And forgive me, and I might use it in some of my writings and talking and stuff. I think that's a very good phrase. Corruption does fight back. Evil does fight back. And that is why those of us and the government, I hope, who want to fight corruption need to be prepared and put all the resources on the table to fight back. I think one of the things the president said today that was also profound in my view is telling his ministers, especially the justice ministry, oh man, you have a mandate. The law gives you a job to do. Don't wait for me to tell you, say, go arrest that person or go charge that person before you do it. Do your job and do it in accordance with the law. And let's go after these people and fight corruption. It's important and it's critical, and because the justice ministry has a very critical role to play here. You can't wait till the president gave you directive before you go and do it.
An
And
example,
that should apply to,
an example would
yeah,
be Gregory Coleman calling the president. I see much
yes,
about you. Am I arresting or
yes.
am I not
Am
arresting?
I arresting? Yes. No, no. You know your job. You have your role. Go and do it. Don't ask the president if you should
Yeah,
do
go
it.
do
Don't
your job, my man.
I
It's
see
your
the Russian
job.
machinery. I should arrest him.
Yes.
I should
Should
not
I
arrest him.
And the man went to court today.
real,
Oh,
Whatever
real quickly
country,
on the issue of
yeah,
what
whatever
the
country will be juicy about.
I know, I know. Real quickly on the issue of what the president saying go through the Ministry of Information or the government information apparatus. The president is exactly right, and you're right, Moses. I believe the president has seen the dysfunction in the
yeah.
in the relay of information from government
Mhm.
agencies,
Or
and that's why he
coordination as
addressed.
well.
Yeah, yeah.
Coordination
Yeah,
as well.
and that the coordination, and that's why he raised that point today. Sorry guys, my
What,
animals are trying
what,
to fight.
what type of
What
species
kind of
room
problem
is
is this, man?
Go ahead, let me deal with them.
this? All right.
Very, very guy
It's
listening
like
in the background.
oh
The
God.
brother is, man, I thought too much, so gotta come.
But Moses,
Yeah,
we kind of talked about it, and we're wrapping up because it's 8:30 and change.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but the truth here is there is no comparison.
Hmm.
There's no comparison. What do I mean? You had an opportunity. You squander your opportunity. Let's borrow from Joe Boakai.
Yeah,
President Weah, former President Weah, squandered his opportunity to prosecute. If this brother was in the name of peace, in the name of the Liberian people who have gone after Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and her gangs of thieves as well, because she even got more than any president in the history of our country. All debts waived. You start from scratch with the largest peacekeeping mission in the world, with the international community presence, with world leaders, even President Bush, Condoleezza Rice, Hillary Clinton, to name more. You started the country's resources from scratch after the war created a dormancy for a period. We discover oil, no head, no tail, where the money gone. And then you got a useless NOCAL still collecting millions to operate when they're giving nothing back. NOCAL should be scrap.
yeah.
And you looked at all of those things and you did nothing about it because you're not educated, George. You're not. And you refuse to learn. I said this repeatedly. He refused to learn. George Manan Weah refused to learn. That book thing that Samuel Tued in.
Yeah.
Samuel Tued at the bookman.
Mhm.
And when you show your inadequacy around your undermen, they will take advantage of you.
God exploit you. Yeah,
And that's what happened.
yeah.
So you didn't persecute. You didn't do anything. Then you want to come now and say, because this government is trying to hold people accountable, that's witch hunt. All of that crowd, all of that noise, the dead body don't die, they in the casket, and we will bury it no matter what you do. Like I said, the Jack collar you, they didn't even choke you yet. And you crying?
Yeah.
So Moses, that's how I want to end. President Boakai should not relinquish. He said it. With God on our side, if we're doing what we're doing is right for the Liberian people, then we fear no foe. We'll not be afraid by sentimentalism. We will not be afraid by loud noise. Go beat your old cop. At the end of the day, we have a professional police director in Gregory Coleman. We are revamping the police force. They're having training. They're being prepared. And if the police can't do it all, we'll bring the army. We'll bring the army, but we'll sustain our peace. And no red beret and blue t-shirt will threaten the peace of Liberia. No red beret. You have your 6 years, you enjoy. Let the other people enjoy. Please, stop it. Stop it. You stole enough. Go with Claire Weah. Go sit down in Jamaica. White sand beach. Do turquoise water. Drink coconut water. Do that. They ain't ready for you yet. Go relax. Let tea with a man. They said you can't get to the general until you take the pawn from the way. So they go after the pawn. They just calorie then. They even start choking them yet. Then you come hold press conference. You can't even read your own speech. Moses, get your parting word so we can go to what type of country better.
Hello, Volcano. I agree 100%. For the fact that Mr. Weah had the courage to hold a news conference, he indirectly exposed his inadequacy. He had 6 years, and he said he empowered the LACC. He had dozens of audit reports. His administration never acted on any. And he comes after 6 years. He said, oh, no, now go back to all the other reports for Ellen Johnson Salita. Hey, George Weah, man. Why would you embarrass yourself like this? You have 6 years, my man. And all the other reports you're talking about from Salih administration, they were all there at the LACC. You never acted on one. Auditors went missing during your administration. And you're coming today to tell us that you were championing the cause of, good governance, that you wage a war on corruption. Hey, George Weah, you can't do this, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So what type of country is this, Moses? What type of country is this, Alfonso? You not play with the people money. And you know when somebody play with something and you just grab the man by his shirt, say, my man, come here. I'm my money that in my pocket. Who told you to put your hand inside? You only call the man now.
Yeah, in Labrador, we used to say what the jaguar man, right?
And what is that? No, they jack up Moses when they hold you by your trousers, then they jack you up.
Yeah. The jacket. And then we used to say the typical Labrador, my man, the jaguar man.
Yeah, but jaguar man about the jaw or the trousers.
When they jaggle you, then they grab by the trousers, they pull it up until the trousers enter your butt.
the trousers squeeze your balls.
Your toes are on the ground.
The only jackal the man.
I said, my man, and you were in Turbo Village today. You see the jackal Moses.
So my man say you want working the Centralville over Boakai say you want the jaguar man.
The jaguar where need Camo. Jefferson Camo.
The jaguar man.
Didn't even do anything yet. Just jaguar and Joe we won't get crazy. What kind of stupidness is this? When any one of these people die, you will go in the casket with him? Eh?
Man, just jaguar view, the man crying all day.
Why the jaguar my people? Why the jaguar my people?
We'll fight.
Let him try it. They will jack on him. Let him keep on. They will jack on him.
He know Gregor Koma. Koma was there. You want to jaguar and never Jamaica. You are not believing.
But wait, I say, my Java just saw the police director in the corridor of the radio station.
Yeah,
he saw the police director, he started begging straight. He said, no, I was just joking, a political joke. The police director said, no, we'll jackal you. Then you go and sleep. Tell the law what the political joke was about.
Oh, yeah, begging, man, I don't give it
Go explain to the court. Yeah, go explain to the court.
Yeah, my God, man, no office, no bench today.
No, prisoner pay.
Yeah, man, when the go today, you're prisoner. You
What
see,
type of country
you
is
see, you
this?
got to go to quiet.
What type of country is this? An assistant minister on prisoner bench.
Oh, prisoner, man.
Is that Jackman he's small?
You see the man, you know how man
Okay.
look. You know, looking at real man, prisoner, man, on the bed. And the table,
Where's Sarah doing? Where's Baku Fana Minister of Baku 12?
They said the man on the run. Oh.
The man scared to dance the Boakai.
Yeah. But you know that the government finished issuing Interpol and left for him, man.
Oh yeah,
The,
but
yeah, the people issue warrant for the mail.
make it easier for his
So right now, I mean, I will go in
You better make it easy.
But the man told that Watara will take him over.
The amazing hiding, man. What job we
They'll
are.
tell you over any day.
Every time Joe we are going to bed with my clerk, he said, George. And they said, boy, calling my name boy. They almost said, but what did I do? That old man Boakai, can you imagine all the properties we got here? Every day you just say, George. You know, all the people want to take all my houses.
When you see car coming near your house, you say that people coming arrested.
When I come up, man, come in, they play a ball. Yeah.
What type of country is this that the minister can't do their job? They gotta run to the president for it.
He said, Mr. President, so what am I doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it, man. Man, all kind of work go. And you know the man that MDR man. I'm gonna do it here.
But I let it wait for the he said, well, get rid of you. We're going back to anybody to nominate. And you never come back. That's serious warning, oh. But then, we saw leadership at display today. For the last 6 years, we didn't see something like that.
It's just a reminder that you got a responsibility as a nation. Right? The people trust the country to you. And where the country is sunk, it would take a lot to pull all of the abbeys.
Of course.
A whole lot.
Yeah.
But
What type of country is this?
three reasons to work together.
Yeah.
Country. When you got somebody who lost the election, what about one vote? They still making B more.
You say you will come back.
They did it because of peace. Stop it.
Can you imagine? The man lost over $50 million. And somebody beat you with less than $500,000. You still can't get it. You say you will come back 2029. Where's George Weah?
Yeah, more clap for me because I didn't see the election, even though you say you didn't want it. What kind of nonsense?
All the money you stole, that in itself was even more important than the elections.
Of course, man.
That's what money the boss walked away with.
You know,
So the private jet he can come with. Is it on our airport? He paying storage fee, parking fee, whatever.
I think we got to call the RIA people to
No,
come.
seriously now, they private jet.
People got to come and explain, but they
I hope
private jet.
I hope that jet is not parking on that terminal for free. Oh.
My man got to pay something back. Man got to pay taxes to the government, my man.
Yeah, I don't. If look, I mean, listen. Yeah. They let one lay Nissan Altima sent to Liberia to use.
Yeah.
By the time I even got a car registered and insured, I was already on the plane to come back.
Can you imagine how long it took you?
And how much money the first order me to free that car from the port was 1,800.
Can you imagine that?
That was free a 22 car just to be able to get from point
A to move, right.
All that exploitation. We the ordinary people pay. Then Joe, we have my pocket plane on the runway or termite. Not the runway on the termite for free.
Free.
No, we need to investigate this.
Former president.
Yeah.
What type of country is this? What type of country is this? As soon as you see Gregory Coma in the community, you start running.
when you hear police siren, when you hear whoa, you say, hey, go, I wanted to make it coming.
He said, "What the people going again today?"
Hey, tell the children, they didn't like that kid. Make sure
He
that
said,
kid like.
So
"Hey,
I said the male on prisoner bench.
yeah, my daughter, you're on prisoner bench. I ain't on prisoner bench today. He lawyer then sound for you.
No, but no, Christopher Wesley, cannot have presidential immunity to park his jet on our termite.
No, my man. You know, the men are private citizen now, but we're raising money, my man.
Yeah.
They may getting pension benefit. He can go there and take some of that money and pay the people what the country needs. The country is broke, my man. Don't we? You can't do that to us. You stole all our money in the man. Then your plane must be parking free again.
And the plane, what you say, they borrow it to you, your friend,
Yeah, my man.
leave the plane to
Gotta
you.
do something, yo. What type of country is this, my man? It's just 7 months old. People that start running campaign.
That's where it'll come back to power.
Yeah, what type of
You
country
have to
is
talk
this,
to the
my man?
puppet, man.
What the people that say
It's
by fire or
it's
by
just,
what?
They
it's
say,
just
but
every morning, puppet can't give the people a chance once. You talk to your puppet, let him get a put there, let him eat their money some more, man.
No, with Jack on the with Carlo there, with Jack on
yeah, any of people, man. Gregor coming, he will jack up people in that done, they will not believe it.
You know what I think the government needs to do now?
Yeah.
If I were the president,
Mhm.
first and foremost, our bill would be one of the biggest prison in the country.
Yeah.
I'm serious. And I'm not
No,
saying
but
it because I want to be negative. I'm saying it because it's the right thing to do. We don't have a decent prison in Liberia.
no, now I agree with you.
So the man will just say, oh, but my man, don't worry, the man will come in to sub your account tomorrow. That's it. But you
Yeah,
got some kind of maximum somewhere
we
in
need a
the middle of nowhere.
maximum security prison in our country, yeah.
You better in the middle of Lake Piso.
Mhm.
You
Oh
got
yeah, my man will say you there. Oh. We
so
say you down there, you there for good.
we better in the middle of Lake Piso.
Yeah, you can't make it to come out, my man.
You gotta swim. To
When
come
we drop you over there, at least we give you that 10 years. Yeah, you know, the kind of people you send over there, at least that 10 years. When the
Mhm.
man come by, yeah.
Yeah. You know he said the time.
The man serve it down, man. Shit. I mean, you know how the prison system, is in this country. When nobody ready for you, yeah, when they drop you for good. So you get
So
a man to
so
people.
gentlemen, hopefully coming the coming the show on Tuesday. I was thinking about something.
Mhm.
When I was in grad school, there was a case in the state of Kansas that we used when I did one of my courses in public works administration.
Mhm.
It had to do with land restoration. A family by the name of the PV houses, the PV house,
Mhm.
they had a piece of land and they decided that they will, you know,
Put a structures.
no, use the land like how business come and take the land to use for
Yeah.
mineral
Yeah.
extraction.
Okay.
And because the people were ignorant and they didn't know anything, the company came, pillaged the land, destroyed the land. The land was
Get there.
messed up that they couldn't do anything after they left and
Hmm.
give the people peanut.
Okay.
So I'm just thinking about it in the case of uh, uh
Well,
of Liberia. How these Chinese, my brother, you guys, I don't know how you're following this thing, but they say, and that one of the things I want to do when I get back to Liberia, I want to be able to go to some of these places. Hopefully, roads will be better. But man, they say the pits, the demolition these guys are doing to our country, all over the country, in those regions where they feel that they can,
yeah, mine gold and diamond.
yeah,
Yeah.
or explore for minerals. They're just digging pits and leaving the place barren and not restored. That's a conversation we need to have.
Yeah.
Because what happens for the community?
It'll be a good conversation though.
Mm-hmm. Mhm.
And I was
Yeah,
thinking
good point.
about it,
Yeah, it will.
especially
Yeah, and if we can,
the way this
yeah,
previous president, took on to himself. Here, his
Oh, my man, the man became minister of lands, mass, and
yeah,
yo,
you know,
yeah.
that's something to have a conversation about. But let me
Mhm.
not hold you guys up. I gotta get out of here because things need to be done. It's Friday.
I
But
know.
thank you, gentlemen. It was a good show. Uh,
Yeah, it was.
we kind of looked at the two presidents, former and present, and we
Mm-hmm.
saw leadership, and we saw
That is our leadership, man.
who
I
is
was impressed.
coming
Yeah.
to accept his role now. If we could play football until he die, he would play. Right now, I want to play. I want to play in Europe.
Yeah, you know.
I want to play in Europe.
At least, my man, we ain't coming jack on nobody. Oh. It was a great show. It
Thank
was
you.
indeed a great show. Thanks.
Thanks
It was a
everybody for
pleasure, guys.
joining us. By the grace of God, will be here Tuesday next week. Have a good one from our 252nd broadcast here in the Issues Room. Volcano, Moses, and Alphonso. We say good night to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. It was always a pleasure.